getting into the music was a gradual thing, really. And the guitar, I suppose the reason why I got into playing the guitar, I think at the time, every pop and rock song at the time had a guitar solo in it, so it was really a hip thing at the time, you know. I think looking at it now, I probably wish I had played the piano or something like that, you know. I do use a clean enough tone, but I do some bends as well and things like that. You know, I'm not a real purist, you know, with regards to stuff like that. As regards techniques, I mean, I try to develop techniques like to serve the music. So I don't kind of learn a technique that I don't have a reason to learn it for. Like so I mean, I would only practice things that like serve the music, you know, that I need to do in a tune, maybe, you know, that I need to do something like that. I mean, I do practice playing up and down the neck, you know, try and get some fluency, and I try to have a legato style, a nice legato style, you know, rather than that. Because some guitar players, or some jazz guitar players, do play very, so I like to sort of maybe try and get a more legato style. Using these articulated slides and slurs, and you know, trying to express the note rather than just actually just playing each single note. Just be more expressive, I suppose, really. In the early days, I would have just sat down and I was fascinated with harmony, so I'd be trying to work out, you know, what piano players were doing actually more than guitar players. I think I probably spent more time doing that, really, and then trying to transfer some of those ideas onto the instrument, you know. So I have some sort of a concept for myself as to how I approach harmony now, you know, through years of just exploring different things as well. And I try to look at it maybe like an artist, you know, like a painter. You have this palette of colours or sounds, you know, that you can use, and you can draw on them in certain situations, you know, with to paint your picture or whatever it is, you know. So it could be like textures or, you know, density of chords, or, you know, I mean, for instance, there's E minor here. There's E minor. Here's another one. That's a more edgy anxiety chord. There's E minor to me, you know. So I mean, have all these different sort of colours. E minor, I suppose, can be. That's E minor too. All those sounds. So I mean, I have a whole range of different sort of, you know, colours and sounds for the same thing almost, you know, but just different shades. Like for instance, that's my minor sound. But I have different shades of it, as I say, like that. Or you know, so that's all E minor to me. So depending on the situation I'm playing, I'll use whatever I think is the right color. I mean, sometimes if I'm playing with a singer, I might, you know, play with a singer, and I might just start off just playing around them with, you know, one note, you know, to build it up, and then like the second time, I, you know, make it a little bit more dense. Yeah. And most of the time now, when I'm soloing, I'm not actually thinking of what sounds I'm going to use or anything. I'm thinking in my head of ideas, and I'm trying to play those ideas. And I practice that way now. Like I didn't always practice it. So I suppose I'm trying to sing something in my head and trying to reproduce it. Hopefully anything that I want to play, I can play, and I would have like addressed those certain things on the guitar. You know, such as playing wider intervals, because they're hard to pick on guitar. You know, you're skipping strings and things like that. Nice sound, as opposed to the notes that are adjacent to each other. You know. Yeah. So I like that sort of. Yeah, nice interesting intervals, and I tend to practice those when I'm playing as well, like singing those intervals, and so I suppose ultimately like, it comes out like that. Well, this guitar is a custom-made instrument by John Moriarty, who's here in Dublin. He's operates out of Dublin here, and it's a beautiful instrument. It's, you know, obviously it's handmade. It's your very standard archtop guitar, you know. It's you know, mahogany neck here, and ebony fingerboard, and it's but it's just a beautiful guitar to play. It's easy to play, as people say, it plays itself, like, you know. So it just and you want something that's very easy to play, really, because you don't want to be thinking of the instrument when you're playing. You want to be thinking of the music, you know. And I like, there's a warm sound, and it has that sort of cross between the acoustic and electric as well, which I kind of like, that sort of woody sound, you know. And it's getting better, it's improving. I think I have it now for 3 years, and it's improving. Like the wood, the quality is coming through a bit more now. Like the sound of the wood is coming through more. So it is getting better actually, which is great. You know, it's great to know. I use it through this air amp, which is what I use all the time, really, and I think they're a perfect match for me. I've just got into using another one of these along with this, you know, 2 amps, so it gives you a nice spread and that, you know. But it's very basic here. It has an equalizer, bass, middle, and, you know, treble, and that's all I need for this guitar, really. And there's a bit of delay and reverb, which I use a little bit just to get that extra air in the room. But that's there. I mean, I'm very like minimalist as regards gear and stuff like that, you know. My style has evolved, I suppose, really, because it will, though. I mean, if you're listening and you're practicing and you're trying out new things, it will evolve, you know. So I think harmonically I've become more sophisticated. I've more at my disposal, really. So, you know, I can actually call on lots of different sounds that I probably wouldn't have before. And I tend to go for certain sounds. So I think there's a kind of I would like to think there's a sort of a sound that I create that is sort of my sound, you know.